What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JT, and today we are back to the Crypto Den, and we're talking about gas fees. What are they? What in the hell is gas? Well, I am here to explain it to you very simply. And before I do, for those who do not know, I am Jake Tullis. I also go by JT, and I run a digital asset hedge fund called Bleeding Edge Capital. We are a discretionarily long hedge fund that is based in research and fundamental analysis. So we are a large cap, boring, long, successful hedge fund. And today I am going to be talking to you about gas fees because it's important that you understand how these networks actually function and why they are so exciting to people like me. Okay? And hopefully you can really draw something from this to understand more about this space because that's what this channel is for. I put this content out here so my investors have complete transparency of what I'm doing, where I'm at in the market, what I'm thinking, and they can actually get a real sense of me as a fund manager. But I'm also doing this to help anyone else out there that would like to know more about this stuff, right? And actually understand what it is, the fundamentals. What is this stuff? I got you. That's my job. JT knows things, baby. I'm bringing it to you. And today, this is an important one. Okay. You need to understand why crypto is not going anywhere because gas fees basically feed the system and there's no control vector. So, like, the government can't stop it. You're basically standing up this living, breathing organism that, if people still want to contribute, will always be here. Okay. So, let's get into it. What are gas fees? Well, I want to get rid of this guy. Actually, you know what? We could use that. Looks like I was already doing this for another video. So this right here, okay? Think of these things as a domain name, a website, servers, everything. Okay. Um, Amazon's a great example. Okay. Amazon owns their website. They own their servers. They own the routing, and they probably own literally all the. I mean, they don't probably. They own all of their APIs, and they own all of the data that we give them. They own, you're getting the gist, right? They own everything. Amazon owns everything. Okay, everything that creates a digital company, an internet company in modern times. This is what you get, and then this is how all of Web 2 is. This could be Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, GoDaddy, Robinhood, literally any digital company. Okay, this applies to all of them, and this is how Web 2 was built. Okay, so there's a lot of things. Like, if you want to have a network that can support 100,000 users, that might be $10 million, no joke. And if those users are geographically dispersed, they're not even going to be able to use it if they're in India and all of your stuff's in the middle of America, right? So you have to have geologically dispersed things. They got to buy real estate, they got to put computers there, they got to network it, they got to get it connected to another regional network, and then eventually they just keep building and building and building like Amazon until they have it everywhere. Okay, and it's very capital intensive. You need to raise money. Venture capitalists come in. Like, it's intense. Now, and this is important for gas fees here. So now let's just take all of that. So the website that you're familiar with, okay, this is the app, and we'll just call it an insurance app. How about that? Actually, we're not even going to get into that. So, um, yeah, let's not get into that. So instead of a company buying all this stuff and then they recoup the money from this kind of investment from you, if it's a free service, they sell your data through their APIs. Okay. If you pay for the service, that's how they recoup it. Okay. Now, all this infrastructure is required. Someone has to bring it for the thing to work. Okay. Like you can't plug in a toaster without flipping the switch, right? Without the electricity, toaster ain't going to work. You can plug it in as many times as you want. It's not going to work. Someone's got to bring the infrastructure. In blockchain, instead of a company investing in all this stuff, we use tokens. We use tokens to incentivize people to do what? Well, to go get all the infrastructure and the hardware. So we're just going to do Bitcoin, okay? Because everyone likes Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin. So all of these little boxes are people that are buying computers all across the globe. Brazil, Paraguay, doesn't matter. Antarctica even, doesn't matter, right? These are all over the globe. So we are already getting disbursement, right? We're already getting people all over the globe. We're getting, instead of doing this 10,000 times with $1 billion, we're just doing this with a few $1,000s from, you know, literally now millions of people have done this with Bitcoin. Okay. And then when you get a computer and you download the Bitcoin software, you then are allowing for this kind of stuff. Okay. So now this computer is talking to this computer. This computer is talking to this computer, right? And so on and so forth. So now, hey everybody, it's JT. Just in case you didn't know, I would love a sub. Almost 97% of you that have viewed our content have not subscribed, and it would mean the world to me if you just hit that sub button, give us a like, and let us know how we're doing. All right, back to the content. You have a network. This is what a network looks like. And instead of all of these things being owned by one company, it's a community of people that just want to support Bitcoin. They want to make money. They want to earn the token. Really, these are a bunch of volunteers for profit. Okay. So now that we have the network, there's this token on the network called Bitcoin. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to have to make this thing a little bit bigger. Okay. So now we have Bitcoin. There's only one token. And what Bitcoin decided to do is we're going to lock it up. There's 21 million in here. Okay. And there's only going to be one way to get these Bitcoin. It's to mine. So when these computers are mining, and I'm not going to explain that in this video, it's really just they verify the transactions on the network to bring security. Okay. They're incentivized to get a computer and quote unquote mine because every block they mine, every transaction they support, essentially, they get a little bit of Bitcoin. Right? That's how that works. It just flows. It just flows, baby. Okay? And then the other way to get Bitcoin, and this is where gas fees come in, is to actually solve, or I guess, produce and support a block. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to get a website on top of Bitcoin, like bitcoin.com. Okay? Or let's do Coinbase. This is Coinbase now. Okay? Coinbase has an instance on top of Bitcoin. Here's Coinbase. You, the human, come into Coinbase and you want to buy a Bitcoin. Okay? When you do that, you put in your buy order. Coinbase is going to buy a little bit of this Bitcoin. When they buy this Bitcoin, they are purchasing block space from this network. In that block space, they're going to put your transaction. Right? Bob wants 1 Bitcoin. Coinbase is going to put in that order for you to the Bitcoin network, not to some Wall Street goonie, right? Bitcoin network's going to be like, what's Bob's address? Coinbase is like, here's the address. Coinbase will then basically take the dollars that Bob gave Coinbase, 100 grand, make it easy. Take the 100 grand, It's going to then take a piece of that, maybe 80, $100 as a block fee or gas fee, block space fee, whatever it is. That's the actual net profit of Bitcoin Network. They're going to split that profit with the computer, the person that actually whose hardware made that block. It's going to send that money to them, right? And then Coinbase is going to take a little bit as well. So instead of you having to give all your money and data and everything to Coinbase or to Amazon or to anybody, you buy a little bit of Bitcoin block space and no one has any control over it. So you pay for the block space when you want it. It's like a very simple model of, hey, I want this, but I don't want to pay for it until I need it. And when I need it, I won't mind paying for it. And everyone else is getting paid through mining to get income to afford the hardware, so they don't care if you use it or not. But when you do decide to use it, they get a little bit extra. And that's gas fees. Gas fees are a way for this protocol to remain healthy and solvent. When you buy an NFT on Ethereum, you pay gas. What you're doing is you're buying the block space that transaction is going to be stored in. You do that to basically repay the network for giving you this awesome place that is safe from tyranny and oppression and control. So you buy gas fees to keep these networks alive so you can have more freedom online. That's what gas is. It's a contribution to the collective good of a community that is building in crypto. And alternatively, it's a way for you to store data. It could be a picture as an NFT, it could be a video as an NFT, it could be your investments, it could be your retirement in the form of a portfolio. Just buy the token and let it sit. As long as one instance, one node on these networks is running, your shit is still there. So gas fees are important. You're doing a good thing. You're choosing a better way to store your data. And if you just so happen to have the token that people want to use to store things, you're going to make some money. In my opinion, like this is the future. People are going to prefer to do this. And once we get an interface that makes all this seamless, you don't even know what's happening. Watch out. That's going to be the iPhone moment. That's going to take us from 0 to 1, and the whole world's going to stop and be like, wow, why have we not been doing this like this? Until then, take care of one another. Peace.